Hi, I am Priya and I am a technical marketing engineer in the Aruba switching team. So today I'm here to talk about AOS-CX demo environment along with Aruba Central. So for those who don't know what Aruba Central is a cloud-based platform that helps in efficient management, orchestration, workflow automation, and edge to cloud security. So let's see in this demo how AOS-CX switches are integrated with the Aruba cloud environment. So before we deep dive into how Aruba Central helps in integration of AOS-CX switches, we need to understand some basic concepts. So here I have a slide of Edge Services platform, which describes about the services, policy, and connectivity, the three main uh, things when it comes to cloud management of switches. So here, my area of concentration would be wired devices and the policies and security enforcement into these wired devices and then onboarding them into the Aruba cloud environment. So the onboarding part, the onboarding, provisioning, and orchestration part, along with analytics and management, all come under the group called services. And and for policy enforcement, along with automation, comes under the policy, which is nothing but the zero trust security. And the devices that are in the access layers would come under the connectivity, which defines as the unified infrastructure. So Aruba Central is just a combination of all these three, that is AI operations, zero trust security, along with the unified infrastructure. So all these features has to fit in irrespective if it's a branch or a campus or a data center. So with respect to these three services, I have defined a set of features that I will be talking to throughout this demo. And the first feature that we will be looking through today is the zero touch provisioning, which is nothing but ZTP. So ZTP is a part of onboarding and provisioning. So we will see how to onboard and provision a factory default Aruba switch into Aruba Central. So apart from ZTP, I also have other features in consideration. So one of them being a part of enforcement, that is user-based tunneling. I've also planned some features that implement security inside my environment. So that is using TACACS and various servers. So we will go ahead and look deeply into each of these features. So in the previous slide, we already saw a gist of what all we'll be going through as a part of an overall workflow along with the unified infrastructure, the security, and the management. So now we will see the features that I have in consideration for my demo environment. So the first is ZTP, that is zero touch provisioning, and then it's VSX, so virtual switching extension. So these are some terms that you will be keep on hearing throughout this demo, and I will be deep diving into each of these features in the upcoming demos. So next is VSF, which is virtual switching framework. So these features are all built on Aruba switches and then integrated with Aruba Central. We also will monitor each of the switches that we onboard to Aruba Central. And as a part of security, as I already highlighted, we will be going through management authentication and port authentication using TACACS and various servers. And finally, we will also look at user-based tunneling.
ZTP allows device pre-provisioning or provisioning automatically with minimal or very less manual intervention. It also eliminates the traditional method of deploying and maintaining devices. So provisioning devices to Aruba Central can be of two ways or two methods. The first is provisioning a factory default switch. Let's say when a new AOS switch is powered on, it automatically obtains its IP address, connects to Aruba Activate, and downloads the provisioning parameters. So when the software determines that Aruba Central is its management entity, it will connect to Central. We also have pre-configured switches that have some configs like VLANs or any other configurations that are already configured on them. So these switches can also be onboarded to Aruba Central. So once you talk about onboarding the devices, we'll have to concentrate on the licenses that the switches support. So we have two licenses, that is Foundation Advanced licenses offered by Aruba Central, but the switches will support only Foundation license. An important point to note here is that Central does not provide any advanced license for switches. Moving on, we also have groups where the devices can be grouped into respective groups that you're working on. So in this demo environment, I have created a group called intern demo, which I will go ahead and show it to you. So these groups are of two types. It is UI group and template groups. In this video, I will focus on onboarding an AOX switch to central using the manually add method, that is serial number and MAC address method. So the serial number and MAC address can be obtained from the terminal or console access to the switch, or you can also obtain it from the orange slit that is present in every switch, that is every AOS-CX switch. So there is the small slot which has the serial number and the MAC address of the device. So it can be either physically obtained that way, or you can do a console login to your switch and get your serial number and MAC address. As a part of the shift to an edge to cloud platform, Aruba has introduced both foundation and advanced licenses. Here, a point to note is that switches support only foundation license, and there is no advanced licenses for them. So this is nothing but a uniform subscription software that will be extended to all products under the Aruba Central Managed portfolio. It has a time period of, let's say, 3, 5, or 10 years. And it also offers the flexibility to choose services and device operations that are most meaningful to the type of customer demo or the work that you want to do. So now we will go ahead and see how to connect to Aruba Central right from scratch. So this is my homepage, which is my HPE Green Lake homepage. So here I have this tab called Applications. I have an Aruba Central internal instance, which is normally used for customer demos. So I will launch this instance. So once I launch this instance, you will see the homepage of the Aruba Central, homepage or the dashboard of the Aruba Central.
So coming to the steps to do ZTP. So you can ask me, how is that it is very minimal human intervention? So let's consider the scenario where there is a switch with the very default configurations like a VLAN one just for it to get an IP address from the DHCP server. So in my environment, whenever I switch on an AOS-CX switch, it will connect to the activate URL and make sure it downloads its provisioning parameters from there. So once this process is done, the switch will determine that Aruba Central is its management entity and it will connect to the central from there on. So now let's look into the steps that we have to follow. The first step being onboarding the AOS-CX switch to Aruba Central. So step 2 would be assigning an AOS-CX switch to a group. And the third step would be connecting the AOS-CX switch to Aruba Central. And you can just check if the switch is up and running using the show command, that is show Aruba Central. So you will see if the switch is connected and if it is up and running using the command Aruba Central, show Aruba Central. So now let's go ahead and see how to add that particular switch serial number here. So this serial number is already present in the inventory because I have already added it here. And I will just show you how to assign it to an application and get a subscription tie-up. So before this step, you'll essentially have to come here, click on the add devices, give the serial number and MAC address here as stated already. So once you give the serial number and MAC address here and press on next, these devices will be automatically added to the inventory. So that step, I have skipped the step because I've already added the device here. So now click on this device and assign it to an application. So here in my case, I'm assigning it to the Aruba Central internal. So this is the region where all my other devices are in. So I'm assigning it here. So you will receive a prompt which says device is assigned. And you can also see the app assignment has now turned 0 and it's been moved to assign and subscribe or the required subscriptions. So let's see if there is a subscription for the device. So the subscription tier hasn't been assigned still. So as I already highlighted, once the licensing is done, we'll have to check about the subscription tier. So now I'll see if we can assign the subscription to it. So these subscription have already been auto subscribed in my demo environment. So once you log in into your Aruba Central, you can also auto subscribe them to the foundation license or the advanced license tier so that it gets automatically assigned. So now I'll do the apply subscription. Finish. So you'll also see the prompt subscriptions apply. So as you can see here, the device was initially without any application assignment and subscription tier. Once we followed all these steps, we can find that the device is up and running with the subscription tier and the application. So now let's move to the applications. So if you can remember, this was the place where I moved my 4100i switch into. So I will log in into Aruba Central internal instance. So the switches usually take some time to check in themselves into the Aruba Central. So once the switch is in the device inventory, it is got a subscription and a foundation tier. The next thing you'll do is assigning them to a group. So I already have a group called intern demo where I have all my devices listed. 4100i hasn't been added to it yet. So before that, I'll show you how to create a group and then add my 4100 to the intern group. So in order to create groups, click on groups, organization. So you'll have to get into groups. All right. So if you see here, whenever you add a new switch to Aruba Central, it will be by default in the unprovisioned devices, which means it has not been assigned to any group yet. So my 4100i, which I'm trying to onboard here, is in the unprovisioned devices. So if you want to create a new group, let's say, add group, give a name for your group, let's say admin, add, and you get a group created. So this is as simple as that. And now I already have my intern demo group created. So I just want to move this switch into that group. So click on the switch, you would find a small icon here which says move devices. So now I will be moving it to my destination group, which is nothing but the intern demo group. You need not check in this, which is the retain CX switch configuration. I'll just move it to the intern demo group saying move. So now if you see the 4100i disappears from the unprovisioned devices and you will be able to see it in the internal demo group. So this is how you onboard a factory default switch into Central. And if you still want to see it in an elaborated way, just go inside the intern demo or any group that you create, click on the devices, and you would be able to see 4100i inside the Central's intern demo folder. So this device is currently offline. It will take time to come up in Central, which is at least 5 minutes. So that is all for the video.